is there any career counseling department that is working to cater to these huge number of students, right? So that's one. Second, are there any department where you are also getting help from person who is trained in therapy or counseling?
I would say university shouldn't confine the students in a way so that they only know that, okay, if I study in this course or this program, and there are only those kind of jobs.
I feel like even if we are certain that this is what we want to do, even if we do not have any self-doubt, even then we fear that we are going to fail. We fear whether or not we're good enough.
There's a lot of things in the social media, right? But sometimes we only see or only want to accept the thing that somehow benefits, not direct benefit, like mentally benefits us, give us dopamine or give us like validity of our own opinions. So when we are just watching, which is giving us validation about our own opinion, then we are getting inside a bubble.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. So I guess we made it. Is my
Yes.
sound clear?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. So let's wait for a couple of minutes so people can join, and then I can give a formal introduction on camera for you.
Definitely.
Yeah. We have Tashvia, we have Jad. Just let us know, guys, if you can hear and see both of us clearly. Okay, great. So we are already 1 minute past, so I just can start with a brief introduction. So yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody who is going to be with us today, now, and people who will be watching us later. So yeah, just a brief introduction about me. So my name is Shafak Rahman. So I am a biomedical scientist by profession, and I am also the founder of Being Mental. So I very strongly advocate about mental health issues, and I try to just do two things: create awareness and acceptance around various mental health issues. And today it's my pleasure to actually have on board with us Salman Pramod. And yeah, I mean, he's actually the perfect candidate to actually talk about a topic like anxiety in the classroom. He is currently pursuing his PhD in America, but prior to this, he had his fair share of experiences as an educator, and he had been teaching as a lecturer in two of the very reputed universities back in Bangladesh. And not just that, he is also a very strong science communicator. He has built up platforms for students, whether it's with biotech or even, just building the foundations for these students to take up new challenges and build their career upon it. So yeah, he is, in my perspective, an all-rounder, technology enthusiast as well. So he has a lot to share. And today we chose a topic which is about anxiety. And, this is something that we all feel, but more so in the classrooms. And why is that so? Because that is very well, like, someone can tell us more about it. So without much ado, I give the floor to you, Salman. And my first opening question for you would be, why did you choose to talk about anxiety in the classroom?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Dr. Shafak Rahman, but we call this Anapu. So
Yeah.
here, it has been a long time that I have been like maintaining some of the stuff, like always goes back to the students, especially they're in classroom. So it's kind of connected. And sometimes these things are not confined to the classroom. So many things are feeling in it, like their personal, family, career, a lot of things. And since I need to make it clear that I'm not a professional, and it's not like I'm giving any suggestion or diagnostics. It's not based on that. But the reason of like choosing this, our young generation who are specifically studying and they're trying to do something, and their productivity and all of the things they are trying to do are connected to how their mental health are in what kind of conditions. So that's why I think this is one of the key factors that we should address to make them compatible and also make them handle their daily lives, even their education, and so many other things. So if I just talk about or try to give reasons, it's a very long list. So since I was an educator, that's why those students were more exposed, or that environment was more exposed to me. That's why I'm trying to talk about it, or I'm actually trying to start talking about it, like this platform.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can completely understand that there could be a list of things. And also, I mean, you're doing your PhD now, and I have done my PhD. So we have also gone through a fair share of stress in this case. But what was like because you said that you are, of course, I would say you are still an educator. It's just that you're not in Bangladesh at the moment. But with the students, and what do you think is the most pressing issue? Like, what were they more worried about, or what are they more worried about? I mean, of course, there are many reasons. It would be nice if you could give us, some information or some insights from your experience, please.
Yeah. So I myself is a student as well. So it's not like I'm talking about what problems are they facing. It's including me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think since you said a lot of numbers of things can happen, but I think I can triangulate on uncertainty. Like I know it's a very small word, uncertainty, but if you go and ask them like, how are you doing? Just a simple question. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. It takes time to answer that question. So it's about how they are, what are they going to do, what are they doing, what are they facing, or what's their next move. So I feel it's a lack of clarity, or it's a fear of the future, and altogether it creates an uncertainty to them. So what they're studying right now, let's say I'm talking about study only right now. So they're studying, they're trying to prepare themselves for something, right? But for
Mm-hmm.
what? Or what are they going through right now, and how is going to help them, or is it going to help them or not? So, and what should they do? So altogether, even if, when they're doing something very good, maybe in papers, they are having everything right, even though those students or those individuals, they are constantly on the thought that, okay, what's going to happen, and whatever I'm doing is going to give me a result that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So I think uncertainty is one of the things that's fueling a lot of things, especially the mental health degradation, or staying with their mental peace to keep it like always good. It's a challenge for them.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm thinking about, like, because you pointed out very clearly about the uncertain future. I mean, a lot of it is uncertain, of course, and we are also living at the time where things are not. I mean, you plan something, something goes against the plan, and that has been happening for some time. But I was thinking that what is the, like, do you have like some insights about what is the, I mean, if you're talking about the bachelor students, right? Because maybe that was your, like, most of the students coming from there. And then, I mean, back in the days when I was doing my bachelor and you were doing it, we were just studying. I think I had no, like, I mean, which is a good and also like a bad side of it, because you are not really thinking so much about the future, but you're living in the present. um but what are they more uncertain about? Is it like they are thinking about the landscape? And now I'm really, for our audience as well, I'm now speaking more of the landscape of Bangladesh, because that's where also Salman is coming from.
Yeah.
So is it because of the future of, I don't know, whatever field, let's say biotech, which was their field, is it about that in Bangladesh, or is it about what would happen in general, or what they want to be, or they're not sure about it? So what was it?
It's it's actually in general, and actually before starting talking about it, I should clear something. This when I'm talking about right now is mainly targeting a specific group of people. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. surprising, or since I'm not exposed to or like haven't dealt with like all kind of people, all kind of students, or all kind of age range. So we are talking about undergraduate students in
Mm-hmm.
Bangladesh setting. So in that perspective, is your direct answer would be yes, that's general. Um, about the study field, it may change depending on their uh, major, depending on their career goal or something. It can change a lot, but in general, not only they're uncertain about their career, they're uncertain about their life choices. And they're probably like it will come up why I'm talking about life choices, and also the societal structure, the way we are shaping right now. It has a lot to do with the economy as well. So if we talk about only our country, due to the structure, let's not talk about the politics, but at the same time, everything is connected somehow. And if we bring it down to economy, social economy,
Yeah.
so we are going through a transition. Like there was a time, like before 2000, before 2010, like before the social media, the transition was like very slow, or you know certain kind of mindset or social economy or social mindset would stay for like 10, 20 years or something. But now it's changing. After the social media, it's changing like really, really fast. So the
Yes.
transition from the other generation to our generation, so the kind of career choice we are making, or the career choice it was expected from us. So there is a transition going on right now. So I think this transition is somehow affecting, like making people more uncertain. So I think it will get stable after a certain time, maybe 5 years, 10 years. But this is one of the things. So I would say the social economic structure and the transition due to the time. Those two are feeling a lot of these things, and also the expansion, the exposure. There were a time that we were not that exposed, but now we are
Yeah.
exposed to a lot of things. So a lot of expectation and so many places we want us to see ourselves. So all this together is not always possible. Like whatever we're dreaming, going there. So I think that kind of um, steps that we are not being able to take is also putting them in uncertain if I can do it or not.
Mhm.
Some of the things.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you clearly pointed it out, and you also uh, really nicely highlighted, because I just said like a couple of minutes ago that when I was doing my bachelor studies, I was just studying and that's it. And I was just going around having fun with friends, and then everything was good, right? But now, of course, like you said about the exposure, and that is also a very important part. Like we are with this, I mean, of course, and now we are also using this social media, right, to also have this dialogue on anxiety and on stress in the classroom. But of course, like you mentioned about a couple of blocks, which could be the, of course, the situation in the country, and of course, like how exposed you are. And back then we were not exposed. At least I can tell from my own experience that social media was there, but not really doing much to bring us to this situation, like, oh my god, this is happening, this person is achieving that, I am not achieving this, where am I in my situation, XYZ. So bringing that into our context of today's topic, how much do you think the social media, I mean, this is just one thing, because I want to go more into the geopolitical side of it, but what we have now, right, because we are also using it at this moment, how much of this is also like, sort of fueling the stress among students?
I think everyone knows that. Like so many things are going on. So all the people who are actually following or being aware a little bit, they
Hmm.
know. But still, I can point out like the toxic expectations is bringing down our focus. So the way we would be like doing something, but now probably I'm not sure if it's the case for everyone, but maybe we're not putting enough time for particular things that could
Hmm.
like discuss in places. But those are like topics of something else. But I think the entitlement without understanding the position, by being, selective about those things. Like, well, the the social media impacts. There's a lot of studies, so people can look up everything. But in my opinion, or observation, I would say, it's not an opinion. So
Yes.
I think many of our people, um, they are trying to, like separate themselves to relieve the stress, or like having those dopamine, rushing due to like micro pleasure or something.
Yeah.
So just think about it. There's a time, like for example, you just mentioned, we knew our world. Like, we are going to our university where we're doing stuff. Maybe many of us are doing some other activities as well. But at the same time, now people are like living many time zones. So like, and when you are in office or in a university, you are living your time zone. And when you're coming to your house, or whenever you're trying to get connected, you are like actually living or exposing yourself, or living a life which is not in our country, some other culture. So that separation, like personality, like living expectation standard, is like separating you. So that's actually putting strain on your brain, I guess. Another one that I just mentioned, that entitlement without understanding the position, by being like selective about views. Like, there's a lot of things in the social media, right? But sometimes we only see or only want to accept the thing that somehow benefits, not direct benefit, like mentally benefits us, give us dopamine, or give us like validity of our own opinions. So
Yeah.
when we are just watching, which is giving us validation about our own opinion, then we are getting inside a bubble. Then
Hmm.
the comes with other people, because many people, different people will have different opinion. And so that kind of like, if we get fixated among, a certain way of life, um, and they may have like reverse impact, like it can impact surroundings, relationships, is and we start like micro and macro comparisons. So,
Yeah.
and we're not being content about it. If we are not getting that, what we expected, or what we think that we should expect this thing from other people, or we should get it from other people, or from the surroundings, or from the society. And then when we don't get it, then our cortisol level shoot us up. And I think that also puts like stress, definitely, right?
Yeah.
So this is some of the things, I guess. That's like an observation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think it makes all the good sense actually, because we do it as well, right? We just swipe up all the reels, which is like 15 seconds, 10 seconds. So we are also getting this micro dose of this pleasure, and we are also addicted. So we all spend our hours on our phones. So that's that. But then I was also thinking, Salman, because these students and you have a very good relationship where they also. I understood from you that they're also coming to you. They also want some advice and suggestions from you, right? So, what were the complaints that they actually had? Were they really talking about that they were anxious? I mean, they also have to. You need to feel vulnerable at that position and trust you. In this case, you, where they will talk about their problems. So, what were the problems, and did they know where it's coming from?
Hmm. So, well, probably, like, I cannot talk about, or I cannot mention what was the problem, but I can say the range. Like,
Yeah.
could be anything, like from academics, for family, relationship, financials, job, career. The range was like really big. So many of them, they knew what was the problem. Many of them were like, as I said, like most of them were uncertain about some of the things. If they're talking about career, their study and everything. So of course, uh, it's not possible to just solve all of this, or just pointing out what to do exactly at that moment. But what we are doing is, most of the time, actually, the first step was to help finding immediate next step, right? So when they're coming with so many problems, with different types, like their personal, so to family or academics, whatever the problems are. So our first step would be, since we are not, we are just educator. Usually in our culture, people goes to the teachers many times, right? we used to go as well, but we are not psychologists, anything to do with that. We're not professionals, so we couldn't like suggest anything if happening something like that, like psychologically or clinically. But if there are problems or something that we can discuss and we can like think about or strategize some of the steps, uh, we were like doing that, and at the same time, sometimes direction to overcome um, at least that initial problem that you need to solve immediately. That was our first target. And second one would be like a mental stability. Because let's say you are stressing over something, you are in a very good position to call yourself you are anxious or you are depressed or something. Probably you are self-diagnosed or what, however it is. In that moment, if especially students are going through academics or financials, right, or family, so and more, but immediately at that moment, if you're not stable enough, if your mind is not stable enough, it's very easy for you to either take wrong decisions, or it's very easy for you to like not doing anything at all. And if you don't do anything at all, that means your productivity or many of your responsibilities will get hampered, and that will add more stress, and that will give you more reason to be uncertain, unsuccessful in I mean in that thought. I'm not saying like if you just like don't work you're going to be unsuccessful. It's not like that, but people will, in that kind of situation, people think, they overthink a lot. If you are having just a bad day, they will just think, okay, I saw a lot of people just probably that's a temporary bad time, but they were like they were thinking, okay, there's nothing gonna good waiting for me, or probably I will be unsuccessful or something. Even I go through this. It's not like I'm talking about those people. Sometimes things are so bad that I think like, okay, I'm done. So it's happened. So that's why the mental stability is important, because at that time you can do mistake, or you can do like impulsive, you can take impulsive decisions, or you can just like give away some of the stuff that may like put you in a loop, like add more to this. So this is one of the things we were focused on it. And as I said, like the immediate first step, what let's say you are having a situation, so okay, probably there's nothing to do, but let's say what are the alternative. So we talk about the alternatives, and also it's highly curated, because different type of students, different type of people, they have different things. So it has to be individually curated. So we had to know how they're thinking. And as a teacher, I guess it was one of our intrinsic responsibility to understand or remember individually what type of student, what type of person that is. It's like hundreds, like every batch is like, like every semester you let see 200 new people. So it's like 1,000 of people. If you add a couple of other institutions, age range, it will be like thousands. And it's very hard to like, remember every personality. But I don't know how our teachers were doing it. But that's why I say it, like individual curator, because their family background matters. What are the things going on with their family? Maybe some of the people in certain situation, their same problem, but their the impact of the problem or their approach to the problem will be totally different because of their surroundings, the way they grew up, or their mindset. So those are the things we had to keep in mind to like start something with them.
But Saman, I was just thinking, because you said in the very beginning of our session that, of course, you are not a clinical psychologist or a therapist. I mean, neither am I. But what you want to do is help your students, of course. And then you say, like, oh my God, there could be thousands of students. You cannot remember everybody. That's not possible. So I have a couple of questions in my mind while you were saying this. But one of the things I was thinking was, so is there a system in place? Because from what you said, it feels like there is no system in place in the institution. And right now I'm only thinking about the academic stress. Because of course, I mean, you cannot solve everything, right? So, but
Yeah.
being an educator, being someone who is into the system for some years already, so the first question would be, are there any I mean, I know that there are career counseling,
Yeah.
yeah. So those kind of departments where they could, of course, because one of the things you mentioned was uncertainty about the future for the students, like what's next. Of course, piled up with all the expectations of the society, family, all everything that's fueling up their anxiety. So, is there any, first of all, any career counseling department that is working to cater to these huge number of students, right? So that's one. Second, are there any department where you are also getting help from a person who is trained in therapy or counseling? So these are two different things. One is something for career coaching, and the other one would be more to help with things like this when they are already, at the top of the cliff, ready to fall off, and then you have to save it, you being not trained yourself, because of course you said it already that you also go through moments, right, of these very anxious and very stressful moments. So yeah, I am very curious to know what is the situation at the moment.
Yeah. So I have like very specific answer for that, but I want to mention one thing. First of
Hmm.
all, it's just not only me. I believe like most of the teachers in our country in that setup, uh, they do the same thing. It's not only
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
And number two is like, um, sometimes just talk helps, like you are having a conversation, they're sharing, if you are understanding or you're like trying giving them some directions or at least giving them alternatives to do, so that helps as well. Not necessarily you have to like solve their problem or something. So now I'm
Hmm.
coming to the question. Yes, universities, like at least the reputed one, they have career council
Okay.
units, also psychological or like mental health well-being units. They have it, like they have all these things. But the issue is when you will have a proper functional career counseling or some setup that platform will actually help you
Hmm.
when you have jobs in the market. If I'm just talking about the career, right?
Yeah.
So so that thing is like very oversaturated in our country. So even if there are like career counselors or something, they can tell you, they can have seminars, trainings, a lot of other things, or even like the university clubs, even the teachers, even department initiatives, or even like just talking to the, like the seniors and stuff. You may know a lot of things, what to do. Even the career counselor will tell you, but
Hmm.
that connection, the bridge, the collaboration between the academia, industry, and all other things, to do that, they need to have leads that we don't have enough in our country.
Okay.
So even if they're the setups, I believe they're trying their best, but um, so not all the institutions are having it. Many of them are having substandard, but I'm talking about the institution. They're having a very good, strong setup of it, but they cannot offer which they don't have, because they need to have it from somewhere. So
Yeah.
that one thing. And about the psychological counseling, um, like fortunately, the institution I was working, both of them, they have the setup for like mental health well-being or psychological counseling. But what the issue is, the students, they need something very specific, which is like very realistic and practical.
Yeah.
Um, so when they're going to those counselors, or it can be university based, it can be somewhere else, it can be like third party, whatever it is, it helps to a certain point. But when you are going through this, you probably learned how to control yourself, how to do particular things, or how to address some of your issues like personal or mental health issues. But at the same time, the reason they are stressed out, or the reason um, they're thinking they're not successful enough, if I'm just talking about the career, or any kind of like, their skills or making themselves compatible, that's not you're going to get from a counseling office or a proper counselor. That's a very practical thing.
Yeah.
So so I think another thing can help. It could help if the university system could impose, that is, create an environment, um, so that they feel they're good enough for the system. Like
Yeah.
train your students in such way so that they can feel that, okay, I will be compatible for the market. If you just like teach them, give the lecture and do some activities and get it out, it's not going to help entirely, because there's a lot of students who are actually doing it by themselves. Of course, many of the students are doing it. They are doing taking this responsibility by themselves. They're going out, they're putting themselves out there, learning skills to make them compatible. But there's a lot of students that need directions. So this career, or most importantly, what they want to do, so they should feel confidence how to be, like that compatible. So
Yeah.
if the university can give them or the system, educational institution, if they can create a system or give the students that confidence that, well, after going through this training, if depending on your career choice, of course, you will be compatible enough. At least you will have the skills or the exposures or the experiences that will actually help you to like land a job or do something. It may be a job, it can be some other things. Nobody has to do like, just to job or something, but whatever they're trying to do, they should feel that they are compatible enough for that, or at least have the courage. So I think the career counseling and the psychological counseling, other than those two, this thing is very important for the institution to create among the students.
So like the amalgamation of the three facets of this thing, right? So
Yeah.
to create a student, I'm using the word create because it's more like giving them all the right tools to make them more, empowered, so ready for the world. You have a few questions actually, Salman. Do you want to take it, or should I read it? Or can you see it first of all?
Um, I think, oh, yeah, there are some questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what would you be curating for individual student? Well,
Yes.
it's curating. Um, as I said, like since I am not a trained professional on that, it was more like sharing as a friend, right? So the terms, probably I'm using it wrong, but at the same time, I would say that different individual, like different student, they have different problems, and their personality are different. Their background are different. So sometimes a student may need compassion, some student may need like push. Even I saw some students, they are like trying to come to me and, sir, please like insult me or bully me to do it. It happens. And if you just tell that student to like do some in a very nice way or a very compassionate way, it's not going to work for that particular student. You need to
Mm-hmm.
bully, like that kind of bully. It's not like the serious bully.
Yeah.
So it's like different and curated for individual. That's what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on people.
Yeah.
So another one, I like how you are talking about. Okay,
That's
thanks
not a
so much.
question.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
The
So
next question is from Tashvi as well. Yeah.
yeah, so you are saying the curriculum isn't good enough. Well, I didn't talk about the curriculum actually. I never mentioned the curriculum, but I'm talking about because nowadays it's like open system. You can learn from everywhere. So even if you think like something is not in your syllabus, you can try to learn from so many different sources, right? And I'm not going to talk about the curriculum because there are some sort of national approval, like the UGC and so many other people. They actually, you have to go through a lot of things to have the curriculum. University cannot just change it within time. So that's a different talk. That's a whole different talk. So I believe in this open system. Like even I taught students who are like 3-4 years old to master's level. So not maybe officially master's level, but they were here. So those 7 or 8 years old, like those people, they're going through internet, they're learning a lot of things. So I cannot just blame the curriculum every time. And I can, but at the same time, there are certain rules that you cannot change immediately, especially about the curriculum. That's why I'm probably um, not going to touch that.
But I think,
And
Salman, what I understood also from you was that the third area that you were talking about, right? That You need to give these students the tools so they feel confident, they have the courage to face the world. But what do you mean by the tools? So what is lacking in the system is probably the question, you know. So what is needed in these universities, and were they also present in the universities you taught?
Right. So yeah, that would be a suggestion actually. So I would say that it's more than curriculum. It's about the system where they can feel. So that's what the talk is coming, right? So in my observation, if you design um, certain courses and if you encourage the students to do certain works, it can be the form of extracurricular or co-curricular activities. It can be in that form, or it can be like the part of different curriculum. So I'm just like listing down, and then I'll like talk in holistically. So in the way you are trying to inject, like the way the university can inject those kind of things, as I said, like in forms of part of curriculum, it can be part of like the activities. However, it is like depending on their education, depending on their programs, depending on their training, depending on their events, so and their activities. All of this together, you have to put something where the students can actually get exposed that what is going on in the world, what are the things I should learn or make myself that will actually help me to land. It can be a job or do something they can do it by themselves, or like I would say university shouldn't confine the students in a way so that they only know that okay, if I study in this course or this program, and there are only those kind of jobs.
Yeah.
They should make a system where people will think, like in a confined manner. So that's one of the things universities should focus on. It can be, they can tell the teachers, they can do it. Like they can get some like directions to the teachers that you in your classroom, because teachers are the one who interact mostly, right? So maybe the teachers can do something like that, like what are the alternatives, what are the they can make the students exposed to certain things that probably was not in their curriculum. So that's one of the thing. And also they can put the students in certain activities that will like broaden their range of thoughts, range of skills. So these are two of the most important things probably we can start with. And there are like a lot of things eventually will come out if you put them in that kind of system.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. So what I understood from you and also from my own experience, I think we are not limited to books anymore, right? So it's not like I'm going to open a book of whatever subjects and I'm going to be limited to that, uh, you know, that world only. So what you mean is probably to add those extra layers. So as a educator yourself, as a teacher yourself, you can also implicate that in your classes, but it could also be in terms of, I'm just thinking of very brainstorming it, right? So it could be through initiatives that you took already, right? So whether it was in robotics, whether it's something with science communication, I myself, I try to also do things around stuff that I think is have my positive strengths in. So for example, one could do a workshop if they think, okay, they are more into presentation, right? Like what I'm doing now, moderating a session. If this is their also their strength, they could maybe work a bit more on that. And there should be like a presentation skills. So there could be some sort of small courses, workshops, whatever, to build up on those strengths a little bit more. So it should be outside of the book. Is that what you meant also, right? I think
I mean, these
a bit.
things, these are the things. I mean, these are part of the things. These
Mm-hmm.
are very, I would say that obvious things that I believe, at least the educated people and the teachers, they all know. But
Yes.
I should give example. Like since because I say 2 points because it's a very long list and vast
Yeah, of
topic to
course.
explain. We couldn't
Yeah.
cover it here, but I'll just give you an example. That is, we took initiatives for solving social issues
Mm-hmm.
or many problems. We saw problems, we are trying to solve it. And when we are trying to solve, first we identify the problem, and then make a group of students
Mm.
to brainstorm and come up with the solution for that. So for example, like in our we have groups for students that we saw like some students, they don't have arms and it's very expensive, like the functional bionics are very expensive. And then to make it, like they had to go through a lot of things. They had to
Yeah.
become like the scientist. My Fahinuddin, he's like my our engineer. So they learned a lot of things because of that, and then they went to the different competitions. They got exposed to like outer worlds, and they had to do presentations. So all those skills they actually come up automatically to require if you are doing a big project. And also
Yeah.
we do a lot of small projects, big projects, a lot of things. So when you are trying to solve a social problem or anything, it can be a social problem, it can be an R&D, research and development
Yeah.
thing, it can be a piece of, like, you know, a journal, it can be like a article, whatever, social media platform or awareness campaign, healthcare campaign, or even a business like a startup.
Mhm.
So some of my students, they're doing like blood relate. I mean, like there's a blood donation startup, but it has a lot of other layers as well. So once they're trying to do this kind of stuff, they had to actually go through all of them, like the presentation,
Of
communication,
course.
business,
Yeah.
all kind of skills. So I think holistically, we we can put people, like connect them with so many things. And when a student is starting, when let's say they're not being able to do something, so
Yeah.
they're very depressed and they're thinking, okay, what should I do with my career and this and that. So you put them in something like that kind of project. So once they're doing that project, they have to learn a lot of things to make themselves like compatible enough to like do the project. And then that project will take them to a good networking, and they'll
Mm.
see, okay, there's a lot of opportunities for me. So they will feel confident there. Or even they think, okay, I need to learn more other skills to do add something more. They'll learn more. That will give them a idea or sense of win, you know, like the micro win.
Yeah.
Sometimes someone is telling you, okay, everything will be all right, or just do you like counseling. It's not going to work. You need win to feel good about
Yeah.
yourself and more motivated. So those are the things that are coming from those kind of activities. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah, I think, I mean, yeah, I mean, wonderfully answered. Thank you. And also, thanks a lot for the questions. I think they were very engaging. So, because of the time span that we cannot continue this forever, even if we want to. Um, so, first of all, to the people who just joined, if you have questions, please type it down so Salman and I can hopefully answer them. And so, we also said last time that we were willing to ask students to join us as well, because this is all about you. So if there is any student who wants to join the session, please send me the request. I know I got a message from someone before. So if you are there already, please send me the request so you can join the session and we can take it from there. And meanwhile, we have another question. Somebody said, "Sir, can you please tell me which skill we should learn?" I think he answered kind of around it, but yeah, you can maybe in a very short sentence, Salman. Although it will be difficult, I know.
Oh, that's how about this? Like I put like a comment later. The slide will be there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
will put. Yeah, also for the for everybody, I didn't say it in the beginning because I meant to say it at towards the end. We are going to post the video. So we have a YouTube channel. It's on the bio of Being Mental. Please go and follow the page because this platform is only for you. So we are uh, doing it, only to just help one person so you can actually help another person. Go and subscribe it. We will post the video there. There will be also posts about this session also on our Instagram and Facebook page. So yeah, okay, so he's going to answer you that, but I can just give you a very one line sentence. He already said that it depends. It really is a lot of different amalgamations, so there is no one answer. So if you have something also to talk with him personally, maybe you can send him a message. I just said it on his behalf. um okay, so we have a student, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to accept Sneha. Let's see if this works. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so you can hear us, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Salman, can you hear her? Okay, we have this thumbs up works. Okay, so I will give the floor to Salman to introduce you because you guys know each other. So that's why I know it. And before that, I'll take two comments. Tanzim said this was a very layered conversation. Looking forward to more. Thanks, Tanzim. Indeed, with the time span, this is definitely there's so much to cover. Also, if you guys have topics, please shoot out at the DM me on the Instagram page of Being Mental or the Facebook page, which is very newly made actually. So yeah, so the Facebook Live is also a very good idea. I will try to do it. So we are trying to expand slowly. Thank you. Thank you so much for the encouragement. Okay, Salman. So it's your floor to introduce your
Yeah.
student.
First of all, I'm really proud. This is Sneha Shafi. So she's one of my direct student and also my thesis student. So we had a lot of things together. Many of the examples I just made, actually, she was part of all of them. And I know we have a very small time, and I cannot like talk. If I talk about her, it will be a long conversation. But Sneha, you can join me in, and I'm. Thank you so much for joining here. And you
I
have
didn't.
any opinion or add something to it? And also, Sanap, if you have any question, I think.
Yeah, so I would say welcome, Sneha. Thank you so much for very, voluntarily and texting me. So I was very, very happy. I have a couple of questions. So first of all, I want to know a little bit more about you. Are you still in Bangladesh, I guess? Are you
Yes,
still
I'm in.
in? Okay, and you're still working or studying, so if you can give a little bit of your, yeah, of about your career. And the second thing I want is also again out of curiosity, why did you want to join the session? So, do you have questions for us, or for Salman in this case?
Yeah, I do. First of all, let's get the introductions done. So, like Sir introduced me, I'm one of his students. So, I'm still currently studying. I'm doing my master's in biotech, but I'm also working as a teaching assistant in Brecht University. So, my motivation to join this live, apart from obviously having an opportunity to share the platform with Sir, of course, is that I get to interact as a teaching assistant with so many young students, and I get to see their anxiety firsthand. And I'm also basically going through it myself, having not been. I don't have everything figured out by now. I'm just a teaching assistant, so I'm like kind of in the middle right now. So I see a lot of reasons why we see such anxiety in the classroom nowadays. And I have money off the top of the top of my head. I have so many reasons, including the fear of failure. I feel like even if we are certain that we this is what we want to do, even if we do not have any self doubts, even then we fear that we are going to fail. We fear whether or not we're good enough. So I see this pattern in myself, in my students, in especially with this economy and with this oversaturation of the social media, showing us only the positive sides of everything, especially with the romanticizing of everything, including academia and career. So everyone just wonders whether or not we're doing it right, whether something's wrong with us. Why are we the only ones struggling? That's the question that comes to our mind. That are we the only ones? Oftentimes we're not, but that's not a side that we are shown often. So we and add to that the societal pressure of having everything figured out by the time you're like 25 or something. But the more the time goes in this day and age, the more difficult it becomes. Say, for example, 2 to 3 years ago, it was a lot more easier to pursue higher studies. And now that very base of academics, that very base of our career and education in general is very vulnerable. So we have various reasons to be upset and stressed about that.
Yeah.
Um, and And apart from that, I think there's also this grind culture. I don't know if you agree or not. Like it's very satisfying to achieve something, to do well, to be validated for doing well.
Mm.
So that's why we follow the grind culture. But it's actually keeping our bodies in fight or flight mode all the time. And sometimes we just lose track of time. We just lose track of ourselves, whether or not we are doing what we're enjoying, whether or not we're taking care of our health, our mental health. So we're constantly stressed. We're constantly worried about what to
Yeah.
do next, whether or not we're doing it right, and whether or not we will get where we want to go. It's perfectly okay to have a goal to work towards, but sometimes I feel like we get carried away by the goal rather than the process. We should be enjoying the process. We should be enjoying education. We should be enjoying our careers. We should be, enjoying lives in general. But with the grind culture and everything, I feel like we get lost and we focus so much on the mechanics of things. Like, for example, building a career, networking, extracurriculars just for the sake of applying abroad or anything like that. So we don't focus on building an actual community. And the community, like sir said, that the professional counselors, they can offer us very trained answers which we already know, which we already tell
Mm.
ourselves. But that's not working for us, and we need someone to be relatable. We need someone with flaws to show us that it's okay to fail, and it's
Yeah.
okay to, yeah, and it's okay to need a support system. That's what we need. We need to be more human. We need a support system that can pick us up when we fall, and that can motivate us and tell us that you have to believe in yourself. And even if you're not doing so well right now, that's okay. That's completely fine. And I feel like that's something that Sama sir has always done for his students. He always says that it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think very beautifully said, Sneha, because this is also, it reminds me the first time I opened my page, which was a couple of years ago. And I think one of the first posts I made was, it's okay to not be okay. So this is beautiful. I think it really rounds up things. It brings me to a very full circle as well. And I'm so proud as, and I'm just coming from the bottom of my heart that Salman has been so instrumental in, I mean, and you beautifully wrapped everything he said, like it's just coming from a student, you're like someone like you, it means a lot. So I will try to keep it short. And I wanted to know from you in really simple, just a simple thing that you have it in your mind at the moment. What do you need from the system? What
What
is
do I?
that one or two? What do you need from the system? What do you need? One or two things that you feel? Of course, let me also bring it out to the universe again. It's okay to fail. All of us have failed on something. If you don't fail it, fail on something that's not normal to me. You need to fail to understand what are the qualities that you need to build up, what are the skills you need to build up, and you take it from there. We all fail on a daily basis, even. So that's good that you realize it, and I hope you also implement it in your life, that it's completely fine. So there's nothing wrong in failing, there's nothing wrong in being also, like, I understand we talked about social media, we talked about different systems in place and how everything is a bit too overwhelming. To take your distance from it is also important. So I know that you're already aware of it because you said it all. So I really hope that you implement it. So coming back to the question, if I give you the chance of asking me or him or lady to the universe, what do you need at this moment to not feel so overwhelmed and like stuck in this box, right? Because what you're saying is you're speaking on behalf of all the students, and I'm sure that your friends and everybody around, they're probably feeling stuck. What do you guys need?
I feel like what we need is, like what Sir has already said, we need to not be confined. We need to not be given the idea that only a certain fixed path leads to success, or anything deviating from that is failure. We need that assurance, and we need that guidance, that which path to take, and that guidance should be flexible, that it's okay to not follow a certain path that goes straight ahead, but we can take deviations, and that path should be flexible, and that should completely mold to us, like what sir has already said. So I think that's what we need.
Okay, perfect. So I think what I also learned from this session is sort of the dialogue. And it's again fits perfectly our session's name, which was Dialogue on Anxiety, which is basically training also those educators or the teachers or anybody responsible around you to not give you that very blinded pathway. Hey, you can only become a doctor, engineer, whatever. These are really old school, I can already tell you. Because when I also first joined, I'm also an ex-student of BRAC, by the way. So when I joined the program, I was the second batch, I guess. So it was also like new, but thanks to my parents, they didn't tell me, hey, this is, it's new, nobody knows this. What is this program? 10 years ago, Um, so I think it's also learning from everybody, for everybody and each one of us, that we need to also not push young minds and very capable minds like you to, hey, you have to become this, or this is what you do, this one is your oyster, so you're free to do whatever you want, um, with all the honesty and the consciousness and the determination and hard work, of course, that has to be in place. Okay, so Sneha, thank you so much for joining us. If you don't have any other questions, then I will continue with Salman, and then we will wrap up the session. So I'm just going to say big thank you and bye-bye.
So
Thank you so
before
much
she
for having
goes, like I
Yeah,
just want to
Salman,
say
I think
one
this.
thing. Is towards my students. Like whenever I'm going through this, because I saw like both part of it. Like there was a time I was saying this to other people, but now, like recently, I was also feeling the same thing. Then I
Yeah.
realized, okay, I saw the both side of it. And here now, the students like her, Sneha, and students, now I am kind of like getting relieved by their presence. So whatever it was there, I'm now getting it back like way more manifolds. So I'm really grateful to all those ones.
Thank you so much, sir, for
Welcome.
all you've
Thank
done for
you.
us.
Okay, so then, yeah, I think Sneha, so it's a bye for me, so I can continue with Salman.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks. Okay, so Salman, now before we leave, because it's almost an hour,
Yeah,
um, so you already mentioned that you are on the other side of it all now, and we had a discussion off camera
yeah.
a few weeks ago, and that's how we also connected. So, what are you doing now to help yourself?
I mean, there are things like, of course, it's humanly not, it's always possible to stay unaffected. But there are ways to recognize the good things. Like, for example, if I talk about the different culture, like our culture, the place I'm living, so different culture, their issues are different, perception of mental health understanding and resiliency of a person are different. So I'm trying to figure out those. And also, not what I'm not trying to do is self-diagnostic and influential interpretation of something. So you ask me what I'm doing, and I'm saying what I'm not doing. Like if we go for like self-diagnosis and like influence interpretation of stuff, it may, like make us think something that which is not probably not there. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. That's one of the things. And I'm trying to find alternative. I'm trying to look for alternatives all the time. If there's a situation like this, if I'm going through this, maybe there are stuff or strategies I can take to, at least if I cannot solve, at least I can minimize. So
Yeah.
that's one. Another thing is like I'm not trying to take control or expect everything to stay under my control. I think that's one of the things that we shouldn't, find. I mean, we shouldn't like expect that however we are controlling it, it will be like that. So that's one of the things I'm trying not to do. And I'm trying to find contentment, which I have been like, I'm always happy with everything. Like if I see a nice day, I'll be like really happy. So
That's amazing.
yeah, and also like if someone is like saying you hello or like open the door for you, or at least like give you a text if you're alive or not.
Mhm.
Like appreciate that. There's a lot of reasons to be happy. There's like so many hopes.
Of course.
You just have to recognize them. So actually, I'm having way more after thinking like that. I see that I'm having way more good things than bad things. So and also collective development, what I believe in. So if I give in, probably I'll be missing out a lot of good things, right? So that
Yeah.
hope is also sometimes very encouraging. So not trying to compromise anything. It's not like you have to compromise a lot of things to make yourself better, because there are some essential things. You cannot
Yeah.
just say, okay, I'm having mental health issue. I'm not going to study. I'm going to do my job. It's not
Yeah.
practical, right? But at the same time, I think like the collective development, uh, without compromising your self development. So and also like appreciate and recognize the good things.
Yeah.
Um, I mean general way, because the definition of good and bad could be different
Of
from other,
course.
but
Of
in general
course.
way. So these other things are like keeping me at least sane. Finding appreciating like small matters. It helps.
Yeah.
At
Thanks. I think that's also something to learn from, that there are these little things that you can find joys in life, right? Okay. So the last two things I wanted to ask. One, do you have questions for me? If you have, this is your moment. Of course, you can also ask me anytime, you know it. And second would be, this is something I throw this ball at all my guests. If there are like some key messages, some take home messages for the students, what would be those three key messages that they
yeah,
can take from this session? Because of course, we talked about a lot of things. There's a lot of issues that to need to be solved. We cannot solve it in one session, but we are trying to create awareness. We are trying to create a conversation around it. So yeah, so if you have any questions for me, go ahead, and then I want the take home messages from you.
yeah. Actually, I have a lot of questions, but first question would be,
Just ask two
um,
questions because yeah, again, we don't have a lot of
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Um, so two questions. First question: are you feeling happy to to be able to connect with these people, or at least spreading this message? And do you think the people who are like at least knowing something, getting exposed to certain views, are helping them to like reshape their life in some way, or at least like a small adjustment which is really helpful practically to them? Do you think?
Yeah. So I think you're talking about the platform, right? I think this is what you would mean.
And not
And
only platform, I mean like your initiative, your like your intention.
yeah,
It's the intention, right?
yeah, of course, it all comes down to one intention. Indeed, I mean, it gives me a lot of happiness. It's a very short answer. It's really like a piece of my heart that I put into this whole thing. Um, it's only because, again, like you were talking about some small validations, right? Like you get these validations that you need it. We are human beings and we want this at some point or the other. But that validation came later. But the thing is that I thought that I am somebody who can talk about things. So again, when we were talking about things like creating opportunities for students, so they are capable of, you know, using their strength for the best of their own ability. So I know that what my strengths are, that I can talk about things. I am very open about how my mental health journey has been over the last few years. And I started talking about it with small groups of people, with friends. And then I figured that they were very comfortable to talk to me, on the other hand. And then the community kept growing off camera. And then I was encouraged to create this platform by some friends as well, that please do it. Um, so it gives me a lot of happiness because this is my very small contribution to the world we live in. That's it. So I don't expect more. I expect if I can just bring a conversation around it, because just like you, I'm not a professional. I am not a therapist. I'm not a trained psychologist. I'm not going to prescribe any medicines and say you'll be fine. I am just here to hear you out and give the message out to the world that there are issues, but not just the issue. The platform is also creating opportunities again to understand that there are also solutions. So like what we did today, we did not talk only about issues, we talked about what is missing, what can be done, what does the student need, what do we need in general, right? So yeah, so I'm very happy with it. We are growing, the platform is growing slowly. So I have friends who have joined hands and who really want to help also very selflessly. So I'm hoping that I can actually keep on doing this work. And second question you were asking was that do you see the change, right? Sort of like in these people. So what I get is, again, coming back to validation, is only when those people come to me and then they say, okay, even just talking it out, just like talking to you, your students, and they say that, okay, this is helping me to bring out this important issue. I also get some topics from them. Can you please bring guests who can talk about XYZ? So I don't know on the very large scale if it's completely changing their life, because I mean, of course, there's so many factors. But on a very tiny scale, I would really like to believe that I'm doing some good work that's put into some use or the other.
Definitely. So the reason I asked you this question specifically,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a thing I said, like collective development mindset while not compromising self-development. So
Yeah.
this collective development, so that's what you are doing. It can be small, it can be big, depending on the person, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
but you put yourself out there and trying to at least contribute, however the scale it is, right? So now I will, it's very close to my heart line from, like, I am a very big fan of comics and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
dialogue was like this: how can you save many if you cannot save one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it has been the same dialogue, like in paraphrased way. It's in many comics, like manga, anime, DC, whatever. So it can be tiny, however, it can be big. It can be one person, it can be more than one, but at least you should start, or you have started. So one small feelings that changed in that person after talking to you, or because of your initiative, that also matters. It can be for 1 second, it can be for 1 year, it can be for one person, however
Mm-hmm.
it is. That intention matters. So I'm really grateful that I'm seeing my senior, that some of the people I'm looking up to. So you are putting this contribution to, especially for the young mindsets, probably a lot of other people. So really grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sama. It really means a lot. Now, uh, what would be your messages to the world? Throw it out in the universe so we can grab it all.
Okay, so I'm nowhere near to say anything like that, but I would say, like, number one, find alternatives, because we face a lot of situations every day. So sometimes if we just give up and, like, don't look for other doors, maybe we will miss a lot of, solutions. So
Mhm.
find alternatives, and also, as I said, like, don't try to be over controlling. Like, don't try
Mhm.
to control or expect everything to stay under your control, something like that, because um, it's not possible, like, realistically.
Mhm.
Um, and another thing would be, like, as I said, like, collective development mindset while not compromising self-development. So, because if we are not in a collective mode, we start, as my student also mentioned about it, like, like comparing ourselves, if we're good enough or not.
Mhm.
Or we see a lot of people, their lives are different. We see they're being successful or not, and we feel sad that we're not there. It can
Yes.
be, even if we are in a better position relatively, or like statistically, but still we may feel that void that other people is doing. But as an individual, you cannot have everything, right?
Mhm.
So just accept what makes you happy. Maybe a small things makes you happy, but you're seeing other people doing something else. You're thinking, okay, maybe those things are the actual matters that should make you happy. It's not that. It can be a small thing. You can have a gift, like someone can give you a very expensive device, and you can think, okay, that's an expensive device, so I should be happy. But ask yourself, if I just give you a poem I specifically written for you, probably that will make you more happy. But you have to
Mhm.
be honest. So be honest to yourself. So find alternative. Don't try to control or expect everything will be under your control, and try to, like, be collectively, like, happy or accept the small things without compromising your self development. Because why I say it, because once someone said, like, abida shetu. sometimes it's not okay to fail, and our
Yeah.
environment and surroundings make us feel like we have made a big mistake. Um, it's if you fail, try to find alternative. I'm saying like not compromising self development. It means a lot of other things. Like of course you have practical life. You have to pay bills. You have to do a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So if you cannot just give away everything. So try not to fail in your essentials. I mean, try.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, very beautifully said, Salman. And again, like you said, you mentioned already a couple of times, finding joys in little things in life, right? I mean, uh, choose your own I think I also feel like happiness is sort of a conscious effort. That's
Yeah.
what I believe in. And it's also like you have to choose sort of your battle as well. And of course the surroundings can be so many things. It's so many things, and that's what we've been discovering and talking about for the past 1 hour. It could be the job you're working at. It could be your in academia. Of course, we have also other sessions, by the way, in the page on academia specifically, so please go and watch it as well. And you can also see from these people, so there's so much stress, there's so many things from parents, from partners. I mean, you have to choose sort of your battle. And what also Salman pointed out is to be honest to yourself. What is it that you want to do, and what is it that brings you joy? And living in the moment, I think, also helps. So yeah, with this I would like to wrap up the session. First of all, thank you, Salman, for doing this. I really enjoyed the conversation. It was very engaging, and I hope um, we try to squeeze in as much as we can, because live cannot be so long. So we will do another session, hopefully, um, for YouTube, for in a very like a bigger format, and we will work on that. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for taking your time out and for doing this for me, for the community, and also for the
Actually.
students.
No, I'm like I should thank you because like it's very practical problem that people should know about it. That's very obvious talk, but at the same time, people should realize, what are the things and what are the matters and what are the things they should like look for. So I think we're talking about very specific context actually, like the
Yeah,
disclaimer. So in this case, I'm talking. So
yeah.
I would like to thank you, just not from my side, but also the people who are, I hope they are getting affected or they will be impacted by it. So I am thanking you from their behalf as well. So
Thank you so
I'm
much.
really honored.
And also thanks to the audience. So for also very engaging questions, for just joining, at any point. I am just scrolling very fast to see if I missed something. I guess not. Yeah, so there was one person who had a question, and Salman said that yeah, you can reach him out. It's what I said actually.
Yeah,
But he
please, please.
yeah, so you can also do that, but you will get your answer for sure. If not, just message one of us. And then somebody said that, uh, well, Ehsan said that I like you're talking about important issues, Sana. So thank you, Ehsan. Thank you for your encouragement. And yeah, so that's it. So with this, I would wrap up the round. And again, I'm telling this to the world, putting it out. We have an Instagram active page because I'm more active on Instagram, and social media is also a bit overwhelming. So we talked about it. But we have a new page on Facebook. Please go and follow it. The links are all on the Instagram. We also have a YouTube. So we are also formatting this platform a little bit. So, and I have taken the notes on Facebook Live. So I'm going to try and come there as well. If you have any speakers, or if you have any topics that could be something important for you guys, um, or for your surroundings, community as well, any ideas, any suggestions are very much welcome. So this is your platform. Please use it. Please message me. And yeah, so I'll see you there. Thank you once again, and have a good day wherever you guys are. Ciao. Bye.
Bye.